So if you're from the top 5 favorite Adult Swim Cartoon Network nonsense video, welcome to, well, what is the actual Cartoon Network, because we're talking about Cartoon Network now. I'm gonna stop clicking my pen. My top 5 Cartoon Network TV shows. And so let's begin. This is also in, oh no, it's not. Yes, it kind of is, but kind of isn't. In order as to how much I actually like these shows. At number 5 is Johnny Bravo. I grew up on all these TV shows, obviously. But Johnny Bravo has a special place in my heart. All of these shows do. Johnny Bravo is basically, it was supposed to be about an Elvis impersonator, but the creator decided otherwise and changed it up and just had him have a lot of Elvis mannerisms while dressing him up basically like a 50s greaser. With a pompadour, a really, really big blonde pompadour. And he basically describes himself as a ladies' man, even though he never gets any ladies. He reminds me, well, Space Dandy reminds me of Johnny Bravo. Like, the characters themselves, not the show. Both have a giant pompadour, and both are obsessed with women, basically. And appearance. He's basically constantly harassing women, before the wrong part of Tumblr screeches at me. There's plenty of times where the show shows just how wrong it is to be walking around catcalling women and how it's disrespectful and it's really uncomfortable and at times can cause people to feel unsafe. They literally had an entire episode where Johnny becomes a girl, and before the wrong side of Tumblr screams again, no, it has nothing to do with transphobia. It's literally placing him in the shoes of a woman and what a woman have to deal with when being catcalled and constantly harassed by men. Did he really learn his lesson afterwards? I don't think so. But it showed the flip side and just how wrong it is. I'm only saying this because trauma. You know what I mean. So next, again, if you don't know any of these shows, you have to be really young. So I don't see the point in saying the premise and crap, because I feel like you should know these shows by now. Number 4 is Courage the Cowardly Dog, and y'all scary fools who are scared of Courage the Cowardly Dog trip me up, because y'all the same fools that get scared of the Teletubbies. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you people. I don't know who hurt you as a kid that you have this trauma about Courage the Cowardly Dog and the Teletubbies, but like, you need help. And so I never understood why people found the show scary. I mean, at times it could be jarring, especially with like the Pharaoh one, where like they changed the animation for the Pharaoh. It can be very jarring because of the two animation styles against one another, which is their intention. But like, how are you scared of that? What's wrong with you? Can you comment down below why you're scared of this? Like, are you just a person that like gets scared easily? Like, I don't know. But Courage is a cowardly dog, who actually is not cowardly, which is the point of the show, who lives in the middle of nowhere. I'm literally saying the song in the beginning. This is literally the introduction to the show. Just look up Courage Cowardly Dog theme if you really don't know what this show is, because I'm literally saying word for word the intro to the TV show. Anyway, number 3 is Ed, Edd n Eddy. Unfortunately, one of the voice actors for this passed away. If you saw the Space Ghost Coast to Coast, well, if you saw my past video, well, one of the voice actors for Space Ghost Coast to Coast also unfortunately passed away at a fairly young age, and so did the Ed, Edd n Eddy voice actor. So a moment to pay respects. But like, Ed, Edd n Eddy again is the third favorite show of this whole list. Ed and Eddie is basically about three people that have the name Edward. Yeah, all three of them have the name Edward. I'm trying to think if there's another name that could possibly have Ed in it, and I don't think. No. And one has a spelling of ED. Another one is with two D's, and they call him Double D. And another one has two D's and a Y at the end. One of them is super duper smart and really, really nerdy. And then one of them is constantly trying to scam people and is obsessed with girls and jawbreakers. And the tallest one is really... He's actually kind of smart, though. Like... If you take a moment and you think about it, there's times where, like, Ed says things and you're like, wait? But for the most part, like, he's just dumb. And he's super into, like, monster movies and comic books. But yeah, a smart one, a dumb one, and the one that tries really hard to be really cool is really not. Yeah, I love Ed and Eddie. Ed and Eddie. Again, that's literally just the premise of the show. It's three friends named Edward with different nicknames for the name Edward, and they live in a cul-de-sac. They do not live in purgatory. They literally have times where, like, Double D has called the kids' parents, and they get into a panic because the kids' parents are coming. And there's times where, like, the kids' parents are in the house, they're just not on screen. Like a Peanuts situation. It's like saying and they do leave the cul-de-sac, like, several times. So I don't know where people are getting this theory from. Like, have you watched the show? They leave purgatory. They leave the cul-de-sac several times. Like, this isn't... Whatever. My second one is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which is a Craig McCracken cartoon. Craig McCracken's great. This is the second series I've seen by Craig McCracken. I think there's only 3, like, main been on TV series that Craig McCracken has done, and literally all of them have been ones, especially this one and the next one I'm gonna name, go down in, like, childhood. Like, how did you exist without the show cartoons? He's one of the biggest animator, writer, cartoonist nonsense, whatever the name is, from Cartoon Network. But he moved to, I believe, the most recent show he's done. I'm pretty sure it was on Disney XD though. But Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is about a foster's home that's for imaginary friends. So when you were little and you had an imaginary friend that you used to play with or speak to in your head or speak to out loud or whatever you made up in your head to keep you company, when you get older, like, I think it was Toy Story 3 that did this, that had everybody depressed. Basically, your imaginary friend has nowhere to go anymore because you got older. God, that's depressing. My friend yesterday was like, if you think about it, that show was depressing. And I was like, yeah. But they all moved to a foster home once they don't have a home anymore, and little kids can go and adopt a imaginary friend. And the main character, Mac, has an imaginary friend. He hasn't grown out of this imaginary friend, but his mom is forcing him to get rid of the imaginary friend because she thinks that he's too old to have an imaginary friend. And so I believe it was a 1-hour special, but it was like the first 2 episodes like slammed together. It's the pilot episode. It explains why Mac had to get rid of Blue. So Blue basically lives at Foster's and Mac has a deal with Foster's that he has to go pretty much every single day. And if he like misses it one time, it can have them forces them to put Blue like up for adoption. So basically, Mac just has to keep showing interest in Blue, and they'll let Blue live there without actually being taken by anyone, even though he was several times. Lord Jesus Christ. And a lot of nonsense ensues, and it's a great time. And if you like the show I'm about to say, then you'll like Foster's. And the show I'm about to say is that my favorite show, my number one show, the show that I had the snow boots, the sneakers, the bedding, the clothes, the underwear, the socks, the all of the toys. You know, at gas stations when they used to have like those juices that had like the characters on top, I had all three of those. Also had other Cartoon Network ones. I had the video game for PS2. I had silverware. I had bowls. I had cups. I had backpacks. I had water bottles. I had anything you can possibly imagine. In fact, this show had an episode called The Collector, and that describes me at 5 years old very well. The Powerpuff Girls is my number one favorite Cartoon Network cartoon. If you heard that, that's my stomach. I keep telling you people I'm hungry. I haven't had any food yet. This is probably going to be the last video, and then I'm done for the day. I'm going to want to keep filming because I feel very productive right now. I filmed about 6 videos today. I feel very productive right now. If this is what people on Adderall feel like, this is a strange experience. But yeah, the Powerpuff Girls is my favorite cartoon. It's part of why I hate the new one, because it doesn't make any sense. And then, most importantly, before you scream that it's just nostalgia, they did it without Craig McCracken's permission, and then just told him that he just has to take it to the face that they're going to do this new TV show that he has zero say in. Didn't inform any of the previous voice actors that had said that they would love to come back to do the Powerpuff Girls. They did it in the most sleazy, like, messed up way. Like, my Cartoon Network would have never been so cutthroat, like, but the people that are doing Cartoon Network right now, that was a really mean thing to do. And I'm really glad that it backfired, and now Powerpuff Girls is canceled. The new Powerpuff Girls is canceled. My favorite Powerpuff Girls is Powerpuff Girls Classic. The one that didn't do things like deem, what's her face? Why do I always forget her name when I need to say her name, but when I don't need to say her name, I know her name. The one who's a redhead that you don't see her face, that works for the mayor. They deemed her to be sexist because she has an amazing body. Yep, that's why. Completely ignoring the fact that she has like this femme fatale, like knockout kind of image, but then she's the smart one, and then the little elderly white dude is the one that's the dumb one, because normally in our television, in our media, they portray it as the opposite. So what Craig McCracken did was far more feminist than just leaving her out completely. Also, they took out their teacher's boobs, because apparently boobs are offensive. Cause you know how she has triangle boobs? They were like, oh no, take that out because that's sexual. But you're feminist, right? When you just sexualize breast, as if like people don't have boobs. But the classic, that was a horrifying face. The classic Powerpuff Girls is my number one favorite Cartoon Network show. There's also it helped me get through hard parts of my childhood, because my childhood was not 100% easy. Let me just throw it out there. And again, I had everything on it. It always held a special place in my heart. I actually have Powerpuff Girls stickers on my phone, because in Korea they have a Cartoon Network store, and I went crazy. my eldest sister was always Blossom, the middle child, because she's mean. Is Buttercup, and then I was always Bubbles because I'm the smallest one, the baby of the family, the itty bitty little baby. But Bubbles and Blossom, the combination of them, I think, describe my personality very well. Yeah. If you haven't seen any of these Cartoon Network shows, one, you must be really young. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying you're most likely, like, real young. And it makes me feel really old. But I heavily recommend them. Every single one of them, except for Courage and Johnny Bravo, is on Hulu. Again, I'm not sponsored by Hulu. Hulu can sponsor me, though. That'd be nice. I don't have enough subscribers for Hulu to ever sponsor me. But yeah, Courage and Johnny Bravo you could find online somewhere. Again, it's Courage the Cowardly Dog, but like if you grew up on it, you just call it Courage because you already know what the author is talking about. There's other Cartoon Network shows I grew up on. I have an original Teen Titans t-shirt that you'll see me in time to time. My stomach's gonna growl again. So I like the classic Teen Titans. Whether the quality of it is just nostalgia or whether or not it's like legit good or not, I don't know. That's been a discussion for a while of everyone being like, was it actually that good, or are we just being nostalgic? But yeah.